Hey everyone, I want to introduce you to Starting Block, the best co-working space in Madison. If you work from home or you are new to Madison or you just feel like you don't have a professional community, you should definitely check out Starting Block. Many of you may know Starting Block as Madison's startup hub, but it's a lot more than that. They are constantly hosting networking and professional events for the community, and their co-working membership rates are super competitive. So if you're tired of working from home or you want to build your professional community, check out Starting Block at startingblockmadison.org. That's startingblockmadison.org, located in the East Washington corridor at 821 East Washington. Today on City Cast Madison. Whether you've lived in Madison your whole life or just moved here, we could all use some tips and tricks on how to thrive in our city. Between me, Madison Minute's editor Rob Thomas, and our producer Jade Iseri-Ramos, we have more than 40 years of experience living in Madison. So we're bringing you our essential tips for navigating the city and what we wish we knew when we moved here. It's Monday, January 13th. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. All right, I am here with our new producer, Jade. Jade, how are you?
Hi, Bianca. I'm really happy to be here.
Oh my God, so happy to have you. And with Rob, our newsletter editor. Rob, what's good?
I'm awesome. It's so great to have a full team.
It's so great to have a full team, and it's really exciting because we're doing this fun conversation about how to survive in Madison, giving hacks. If you're a longtime listener, aka 2 years ago, we did do this early on when we first started the podcast, but we've got our new voices on the team to share their insider thoughts about how to make it in Madison. And also we know, hey, Dane County is one of the fastest growing counties, so there is a good chance that you are a new listener here as well. Welcome, and buckle up. We're going to talk about how to get around here. Who wants to start and kick us off with a good Madison hack?
Well, since I'm new here, I'll start. We're having this conversation in the middle of winter, which one of my first recommendations for anyone is buy real winter gear. I'm not talking like the jacket that you had in Oregon. This is calling myself out. Not the jacket you had in Oregon. Like, you need a real winter coat. Bonus points if it covers your booty. Extra bonus if it covers your thighs and to your knees. It's a real winter coat. You just don't want to do anything if it's too cold. You have to have real winter gear.
It's so, that's such a good one. Like, honestly, and if you see people with that coat that goes to the floor, I just found myself out at an outdoor event where I did not have it. And it was, I don't know, like 9 degrees. And I was sorely disappointed in myself. So I've literally could use this own hack myself.
Yeah, you never complain about having too much on in a Madison winter. You ever think, oh, I wish I had worn one less layer.
No, never.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned that you're from Oregon, because that gives some context here. Like, you've lived other lives in terms of what climate you've lived in, like a very different climate.
Yeah, when I first moved to Madison, this is a bonus tip. My car battery died the first time it got sub-zero because batteries are built for the weather. And so if you have a car in Oregon and you move it to Wisconsin, you need a new battery. It's not going to last.
Facts. Another great tip. And Rob, I mean, you've been living here in Madison for, decades, but you're also from Canada. So
this is balmy for me. No, it's this is a different kind of winter. It just sticks with you like for 4 months, whereas Canada, actually in Calgary where I grew up, it kind of goes up and down a little bit. So it's a different kind of winter for sure. You never really get used to it.
Mm-hmm. And what's a tip that you have, Rob?
Well, Jay just mentioned car batteries. Mine would be a tip for driving in Madison, a very specific tip. A lot of times in Madison, you're either on the west side trying to get to the east side or on the east side trying to get to the west side. And you think you've got two options. Either you go through downtown and deal with students and all the traffic and one-way streets, or you take a detour down to the Beltline and go around. I'm here to tell you there's a better third way that I took a long time to discover, which is Highway M, which goes around the north side of Lake Mendota. It's very unassuming on the map, but it's a much better drive. It's actually a very nice drive, and it will get you there, especially on high traffic times, like much quicker and with much less hassle than the routes you think you need to go. So Highway M is the way to go.
Highway M, Highway Mystery.
Is the north side Willie Street over there on Highway M?
No, Highway M goes up like through Maple Bluff and around. This is when you're going from like the far east side to the far west side. It's just like a little escape hatch sometimes when you need to make that cross Madison journey at a high traffic time and you don't want to deal with all the cars.
That's huge. That's huge. And I'm really glad that you brought up Maple Bluff because it's relevant to the one that I'm going to bring up.
Oh,
Which
nice.
if you listen to our original conversation, it was in there, but it's just so key. And me, I grew up in Wisconsin, but I have lived in Washington, D.C. and Chicago. So I had enough time away to come back and be like, oh, this is different. The state of Wisconsin has kind of wonky, strange liquor and wine sales rules. So this is something you'll learn quick if you ever purchase liquor and wine, and in Madison, beer. So the state of Wisconsin's laws are that all liquor and wine sales must end by 9 p.m. and beer can be sold up until midnight. And in Madison, that is licensed retail stores can sell beer, wine, and liquor until 9 p.m. So the whole big, like, get your stuff by 9. No watching a movie and deciding you guys want something else. It's going to be, you can't go get it. If your party is going well and you run out and it's after, if it's 9:05, doesn't matter. But actually, there's a hack. There's a trick. And it lives in the village of Maple Bluff, which doesn't have the same ordinances as Madison that restrict alcohol sales. If you want to get beer after 9 p.m. until 12, you can head over to Vic Pierce on Sherman Ave. So kind of, I feel like in the area you were just talking about, Rob.
Right.
So that's, I think, a good hack and just a good, like, heads up if you're new here.
Honestly, this is the first time I'm learning that Vic Pierce is in Maple Bluff. I just thought that they were, like, special.
Yeah, it feels like they're a part of Madison, but also Maple Bluff kind of feels that way, you know?
Yeah, it's surrounded by Madison for sure.
Yeah, just like Monona.
Just like Monona. But we don't have any of those cool rules that...
Yeah. And I think the beer might be like a tad pricier, you know, if you are
I'm
getting
sure.
over there. But yeah, Vic Pierce, it's right over by Lola's, which we've talked about on the show, the new kind of one of a groovy spot to go out and get drinks. But you can obviously, or maybe it's not obvious, but you can go out to the bars and still get alcohol served to you until 2 a.m. Who's got another?
I've got another, which is join a rec sport. This is one of the best ways to make friends as an adult, I think, is joining a sport that is like really low stakes. I play in a kickball league in the spring and summer through Madison Sport and Social Club, but there's plenty of other groups that offer sports. Madison School and Community Recreation has adult leagues. If you're going to like specific sports, there's an Ultimate Frisbee Association. There's the Madison Gay Hockey Association, the United Rugby Club, soccer, roller derby, rowing. You can play any sport in Madison recreationally. It's a good way to like meet new people, or in my case, everyone on my kickball team is someone who I'm like an acquaintance with. But if I want to make better friends with someone, I'm always like, what are you doing on Thursdays? I have a kickball league. You should join us.
Ooh, I love this rec. Love this rec. It's recreation.
Right.
It's recreation.
Rec
yeah,
sports rec.
And it's low stakes. You know, there's you can miss a day and the team can play. But also for my indoor kids, I know you're out there, trivia is a sport, you know, D&D is a sport. Just do something that gets you out and ideally has some sort of schedule or season.
The problem with trivia I found is trying to get the team to go back week after week. Like,
yeah.
At least with like rec sports, I think there's more of a understanding that you're going to either go or find somebody to go in your place. Whereas trivia, it's like for me, I've had to be like a free for all every week trying to get people to go. There was more than one time I was there by my lonesome at a Smarter Than You trivia holding down the table.
Oh my God.
I don't recommend that. But yeah.
Okay, well,
Okay.
we should probably form a trivia team.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've actually talked about doing a trivia event out in the community. So now this makes me want to do that even more. Shout out to Paul Guzzi,
Yes.
who we've had on the show a couple of times, Smarter Than You trivia over at the Harmony Bar. I have like been that person where I'm like, I'm in. And then I'm like, but I'm not coming anymore. Oh man, and also roller derby. I'm pretty sure Haley and I like committed on this podcast that we were gonna join, and I just am not sure if I have the spirit for it. But I think they're the coolest baddies like in Madison. I have the spirit, but I'm like scared to get hurt. So maybe I should be a cheerleader. Oh man.
So my next rec is a broad one, which is basically be free. There are so many free things to do in Madison culturally. You've got free music year round, but especially in the summer at all the great music festivals that are on the east side. But the university year round, there's free shows going on in the set and on the terrace in the summer. There's free movies, as I've talked about in the podcast before, at the UW Cinematheque and on the terrace in the summer. Union South has a great theater, the Marquee Theater, that shows like recent movies and classics for free. And then, of course, the libraries have great stuff going on. They have free movies. They have all these, events and classes and maker spaces and all these things that for people of all ages you can do. The Chazen and Momoka museums, both free admission. So there's lots of free things to do. The one caveat I would say is a lot of those free places also have donation boxes, and you definitely want to take advantage of those to make sure they stay free.
Did you say the zoo? The zoo is one of Madison's biggest free things.
And that's pretty rare to have a free zoo. So that's an excellent one. Yeah.
That's a good point. I love the giraffes.
Yeah. The giraffes are free.
The giraffes are free.
I mean, they're in an enclosure, but they're free to us.
They're free to see.
Yeah.
That's such a good one. I also feel like on the free bends, the library has so many free things other than books.
Right.
My husband and I just got a board game that we really wanted to play, but didn't want to invest the $30-$40 for the board game, but our library had it.
Yeah, I think some have puzzle exchanges too, where you can, it's great.
What's the game?
Yeah, the game that we played was Hues and Cues. It's
Hues
very
and
fun.
Cues. What's
Okay.
that about? Sorry, is that another podcast?
Absolutely, but this game is like you get a color and you have to use like 1 and 2 word clues to get your partner to guess the color with
okay.
on a big
Yes.
board of color.
I've seen it. It's rad. That
The
is
library
so
has
great.
it.
And and puzzles, man, our library trusts us. Okay, they
Yes,
trust
yes.
us with puzzle pieces, man. Yeah, I do think that we also did recently like a New Year's resolution conversation where so many people were just like, more community. Like, let's get out of our bubbles. Let's get out of our isolation, our homes and our apartments, and like be with one another. One of my favorite things to do, around Madison is be by the water. That's one of the things that drew me here was like, I'm a water baby. And I was not so happy to find over the years our lakes turn toxic. So they're not always toxic, but this is the hack, I guess, around this is just, first of all, if you're new, letting you know that there is something that happens in the summer when the lakes heat up. They get blue-green algae blooms. The city works really hard to clean them, and they are real, and it happens, and they smell. That's annoying. You moved here, there's a city of lakes, and some of the lakes, most of the lakes have this issue. But the positive thing is, if you kind of get there earlier before it gets really hot, you have a better chance of being able to swim if you want to swim. That said, you should definitely be regularly checking the Public Health Madison and Dane County website. And the city does this as well. There are tons of people who are monitoring the health levels, and you can really easily go online and check the water quality at our beaches. And so the Public Health Madison Dane County, for instance, that they do that monitoring between Memorial Day and Labor Day. So that's something I'm going to do. If I'm going to go play in the water, I want to check. Also, thinking about your dogs and stuff like that. That's something that you want to do. Also, it is winter right now. We also need to check if you want to go on the lake, ice levels. So you might see people out on the ice. They might be expert. They might, know what they're doing. And if you do not, I do recommend someone that I end up meeting from this podcast. The folks over at the D&S Bait and Tackle Fly Shop are so sweet. And they do this awesome current fishing report. They keep you current and up to date, like on ice fishing in Madison. And I feel like that can be a tool that you can use just in general if you want to go on an ice adventure. They give updates about pretty much all the lakes in our region and where there is ice cover and how the weather has been impacting the lake. So that is my hack. If you want to do the lake, you got to check.
That's great. That's a really good resource. I didn't know about the bait and tackle shop doing the report. That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll toss that conversation with them in the show notes because it was fun.
I have another hack, which is very related to a conversation that aired last week, which is that no one cares if you order an NA cocktail or like a tonic water with a lime in it. When I first moved to Madison, I feel like I was drunk every night. Because there's such a beer culture here, there's such a bar culture, there's such a where are we going to meet at, the local dive bar. And it can be really bad for your health, or like emotional, mental, physical health, to be drinking as much as I was drinking when I first moved here. And
so the Surgeon General.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the Surgeon General just came out with that. So just order a non-alcoholic drink if you want to. No one cares about it. But I would say if you just like get a Coke, your bartender might give it to you for free. And so make sure you're tipping your bartenders if you're going out and you're drinking alcohol-free.
You're getting free drinks.
I think sometimes
someone's giving you free NA beers. That hasn't happened to me yet.
Not NA beers, but like if you like order a Coke or something, sometimes they're just like, no, it's fine,
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Yeah.
I ordered an NA Paloma last week in Leopold's. I can assure you, madam, I did not get that for free.
Yeah. I mean traditionally like soda water,
Okay.
When you're being really cheap with it.
Right. Like don't go to the bar and like say, hey, I hear you guys give these out for free.
Yeah. But if you ask for a soda water, they might not, charge you anything and leave a couple bucks on the bar.
Yeah, actually that was gonna be one of my, not exactly that, but it's a nice addition, which is make friends with someone in the service industry or like find a spot that you feel makes you feel happy. I suppose you can do that in any city, but I will say that sort of like looking out for folks, I think a lot of our bartenders and our baristas and folks in Madison and like small shop owners, they really are great places to find community and like care. Like, I just think that there are people who are spiritually elevated human beings that are caretakers in the service industry in Madison that can, I don't know, make your life better by you regularly seeing them. Like they're, I don't know, staples of our community.
Yeah,
shout out Colleen Hayes, for instance.
Absolutely. That's a great shout out. Yeah.
Winslow at the Caribou Bar. Like there are people that just are really caring. But also, I don't know there are other places that aren't bars that you can hang out at. But I just double tap. Like it is such a drinking culture and like, but don't not go out if you don't drink.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that on that, knowing that there's like a really rich network of people who make sort of the 5 to midnight scene run, in Madison.
Yeah.
I had one last one that's pretty specific. It involves people who ride their bikes in Madison. I ride my bike on the trails around town in the summer, and especially when you ride downtown, that path that goes around on John Nolan around Lake Monona is great. But when you want to go downtown, there's no obvious easy way to do that. You have to cross John Nolan Drive, which is, have a lot of traffic. There's all those crazy one-way streets if you want to go to like the farmer's market or something. But what I just discovered, maybe a lot of people knew this, is Monona Terrace has a dedicated bike elevator. So you can just get in there, ride it up, and then you're up on the Wilson Street level and just keep going. I mean, it's such a great idea. I hear it's very slow. I hear it smells a little bit, understandably. But what a great...
What? From the lake smell?
We won't get into it. But anyway,
okay.
What a great idea. And I think it's a very easy and safe way to get from that lakeside area up to the downtown area without having to navigate all those streets.
That's a great one.
The Monona Terrace is also a great place to do your bathroom break, too, if you've been riding for a while.
Absolutely, yeah.
They've got nice bathrooms in there.
But
don't
use the elevator, yeah.
Don't use the bathroom in the elevator.
Are there any other, like, biker tips?
I'll add to the biker tips, which is that I am an aspiring biker. I'm not a biker, but I don't have a bike currently that fits me. And this year I got a membership to the B-Cycle bikes, and I kind of always thought that was a little bit cheesy or a little bit extravagant, but it really opened biking to me in a relatively accessible way.
I love that. Yeah, I hear about B-Cycle all the time, and I see them, and
Yeah, the racks are everywhere. I mean, you really can get from any place to any other place around town using those.
My runner-up hack was use your credit unions or join a credit union and then use their perks. And the credit union that I'm a member of has a discount for B-Cycle. So look into the perks that are offered through your credit union.
So many good credit unions. My next one was related to CSAs. I learned about CSAs when I moved to DC, and I somehow, unshockingly, ended up in a house with a lot of roommates who all were basically Madisonians. They're not from Madison, but the house was very Madison. The people were all like bikers and hikers and crunchy as all heck, and they had a CSA for the whole house. We like made kimchi together. And I remember thinking that was the first time I experienced being a part of a CSA. Like, this is so sweet. Like, just being able to have local produce from farmers who have put their heart and soul into it is so huge. And I feel like that is a good hack for Madison because there's probably no better place in the country to be a part of a CSA. And the hack is to sign up early, like do your research early so you don't miss it like me and be like, oh man, I missed my window to be a part of this sort of great opportunity. Because Madison, you're going to notice this, but one of the things for sure is like there are crunchy granola folks here. Like that is a thing. And if you want to be someone who has a healthy gut bacteria queen, sign up for a CSA. And then like that was what I was trying to get at with the folks in the service industry and like finding a cafe or a bar that you like. Like I think people, you know, in the farmer community here are like very connected with the earth and like positive energy. And I feel like everyone that I've talked to who has a CSA like has a deep sense of connection to it and to the family.
Yeah.
I'm like, Los Jalapenos, they're my family, you know?
There you go.
They're my CSA. But I would also say if a CSA feels daunting with you, share it with somebody.
I was going to say that too. Yeah.
The first year that I did a CSA, I felt like I wasted a lot of vegetables. But I found a friend and we sort of agreed on how much each of us wanted and sort of what the price would be. So we broke it down that way. And it makes it more accessible if you're a single person or if you're a couple.
Mm. Also, for those who need that broken down, because honestly, I had a note, CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture.
Yes.
So it's a model for buying local food directly from a farm. And we've got tons of them in this area.
The other thing that's so cool about CSAs is that you're paying for them before they even plant it. So that's two benefits. One, they're able to know how much they need to produce this year and are able to use that money to do all the things that they need to do early in the season, like pay people or buy seeds or repair equipment. But also, it's like you're getting free vegetables all summer long, you know?
Yeah. It's magic. It feels magical.
I forget how much I spent in March when I paid for my CSA. It's free now.
That's a big hack. Well, that was my last hack. Does anyone else have any other ones?
The other one, building on Jade was mentioning the lovely bathrooms of Monona Terrace. As a dad of formerly young children, finding good public bathrooms downtown is always important. Would also recommend the bathrooms in the Capitol. Overture Center and the downtown library is very accessible and clean and really necessary sometimes. So mark that on your map. Going
to the bathroom in the Capitol makes me feel royal. I'm in a marble bathroom.
Yes. Honestly. So if y'all haven't had that royal experience, definitely do. Jade and Rob, this has been so fun. Y'all are the best. And I feel like folks listening now will have a better sense of some of the roadways they can take to have a lovelier life here.
Yeah, I'm curious what are their hacks? What did we miss,
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. You should email us at madison@citycast.fm or leave us a voicemail. We want to get more voicemails. Leave us a voicemail at 608-318-3367 so then we can play it on the show. That's me, Jade Iseri-Ramos, our producer, and Rob Thomas, our newsletter editor, bringing you our essential tips for thriving in Madison. That's all for today, here on City Cast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin, your host. If you enjoyed the show, why not share this episode with someone new to town? We'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, take good care and live well.